Busy season in real estate is officially upon us. The summer market is here, and I don't know about you, but it's starting to feel pretty crazy again with all sorts of buyers coming out. So much happening in the economy. There's a ton of stuff going on, and this is where stress happens the most. Busy season is where it's at. We get stressed all times of year being realtors. When it's a slower season, we're always stressing about, okay, what's coming in, what's not coming in. And then when we get to the summer season that explodes, we're like, oh my gosh, it's absolute chaos here. So I want to talk today about how to navigate this kind of stress in the busy season and how to get yourself mentally ready to take this on, to get in there, to not get overwhelmed, to spend as much time as you possibly want and can with your family. Maybe you want a little bit less, who knows? My kids are off school for 3 months. And how to navigate through this. So let's jump in. This video is kind of more, not really based on techniques and stuff like that. It's more a support session, right? I've done this presentation for a few groups now, and it's gone over really well because the things we're talking about are things that relate to everyone, no matter where you are at in the business. We're all feeling a little bit overwhelmed, right? We're feeling this pressure. We're feeling of so many demands coming up, whether it be clients, whether it be market, whether it be going on vacation. Like, we have to figure all this stuff out and get into it. We're feeling stretched thin. We're managing way too many priorities at once. And this is especially in the summer. If you're a parent and your kids are off school, you're like, okay, okay, am I going to get summer camps? Like, am I going to have to do this? How am I doing that? By the way, summer camps are crazy in terms of how much they cost. I don't know about you guys. I'm in Denver. It's madness here. It costs way too much to send your kid for like 3 hours a day to some like science camp. Costs like $2,000. It's bonkers. Anyway, I digress. And then we feel like life's falling behind the business, right? Business is taking over. We're working all the time. And then we don't have time for the fun things that summer break is kind of meant for. And this has happened to me so many years, time and time again. And it wasn't for, until a couple of years ago where I really started to look into this stuff, where I started to really navigate through this. So this is kind of what we're going to go through today. But the biggest part I want you just to know is this, is you're not alone. You're not alone in this journey, and you're not doing it wrong. But what we need to do is just kind of hit the reset button and work through this together. So let's talk about this. Hustle culture is, if you know me, if you know anything about me, you know that that's my biggest enemy. Hustle culture. I hate it. I hate that stuff. And it's not what you need. And most people think it is. And we're like, okay, we just need hustle in the summer. We need to get into it. I would say we don't. What you need is a rhythm. We don't need hustle. We need rhythm. And what this means is that you're carrying so much, and real estate can feel so lonely that we feel like we're having to carry all this weight on our shoulders ourselves, and we don't have the support. And a lot of agents start to just blow up. They just implode, or they disappear, or they just hunker down. And we think that we're in this hustle mode, but really what we're doing is we're just like bottling everything in so tight that we feel this enormous sense of pressure. And when that pressure comes, when we perform at a high level, and we don't actually take time to recover, we don't take time to rest, that's when burnout happens. And burnout is real in real estate. I've seen this happen to so many people, including myself. So we want to make sure that we're cognizant of what we're doing. There's a great quote that I put right here from Anne Lamont, which says, almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. Remember, this might be aging me here, I'm 43. Remember when you had a PlayStation, a Sega, they're called Genesis here in America. In the UK, they were called the Mega Drive, the Sega Mega Drive, or a Nintendo. You would turn it off and on, turn it off and on. If it wasn't working, turn it off, turn it on. It magically worked again. It's the same for us. We need to unplug and plug back in again. But how do we do that? Protecting our energy is massive. I'm really big on this. I use a calendar called Motion, which I really love. It's an AI style calendar where you kind of plug in everything you're doing, all your projects, all your different things, and it starts to schedule it for you around the parameters that you set. Like, okay, here's my work hours, here's the stuff I do, start to schedule this out. It's phenomenal. If you've never checked it out, check it out. I think I've got a video on it somewhere. If I do, I'll put it up here somewhere. But this is big, blocking things out. So blocking out time for yourself in the morning is absolutely massive. You need to do this. Too many of us wake up in the morning, open their eyes, and then we reach for what? Our phone. And whether you know this or not, your phone, notifications, scrolling, all that stuff brings in an enormous amount of anxiety, especially first thing in the morning. Think about it. You've just rested for 8 hours, 7 hours, however long you sleep. And then as soon as you open your eyes, you're forcing your brain just to go like, and this is what we do. And it's madness. So even if you block 30 minutes of like no phone in the morning, just like turn your alarm off and just get to it, all right? And don't worry about your phone. Everything's going to be fine for another 30 minutes. So just ignore it, get up, get moving, get breathing, whatever you want to do. If you're going to work out, do your thing, drink some coffee, sit outside, talk with your wife, talk with your kids. Spend time in the morning without your phone, 30 minutes. I'm telling you, that's a game changer. Next one here is one of my favorites. Use do not disturb windows. Now, this is for when you're really starting to work on stuff for your clients, or for things that you're putting into your business, maybe systems you're building, whatever it is. When you're doing that stuff, put do not disturb on. A lot of us are fearful of this because we want to be the most responsive. We want to make sure we're on point for our clients, which is absolutely completely feasible and doable and justified. But you can't work on your business if you're working in it 24/7. There are times where you need to put things on do not disturb, shut down the other windows on your computer, and just work on the thing that needs to be done. If you can do this, you will navigate and get so much more stuff done in a quicker space of time that you'll find that stress actually gets relieved instead of what most people think of as if you shut that off, you'll get more stressed. Next thing you want to do is stop saying yes to everything. If you say yes to everything, you're saying no to massive opportunities that could come your way. When you're saying yes to everything, you're just filling your calendar with other people's agendas. And this is a quote that I got from one of my coaches, Dan Martell. He talks about it in email, that your email is just a to-do list of other people's agendas. And that's so true. So you really need to think about that. Stop saying yes to the things that you don't really need to. Start saying no to more things so you can focus on what's actually going to get you to where you want to go. And then last one here for protecting your energy is your physical health. If we don't have our physical health, we don't have anything. So you want to make sure that you're eating properly, you're moving, you're hydrating, and that will really start to set you apart. If you've never really thought about that before, I used to keep snacks in my car all the time. I used to make sure I was drinking, so much water when I was driving all around with clients. But make sure you're doing that. Eat, move, hydrate. This is huge, all right? You don't need 2 weeks off. You need 20 minutes a day to just be yourself, take time out, focus, ground yourself, and then you'll be ready to get on with the day. If you want a really great resource on how to do these things, read Atomic Habits by James Clear, one of the best books. It's a phenomenal book full of really, really great things. So give that a read. It will change so much of the way that you think about things, and it'll give you so much more recovery time on your day-to-day tasks. So let's keep moving here. Calendar. I've talked about what I use right now. It is a motion calendar. Real boundaries live inside your calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't get done. Trust me. Sometimes we have a shared calendar here at the home, Gault HQ calendar. If one of us forgets to put something on the calendar, it's a nightmare. And maybe you operate the same way, but if it's not on my calendar, it does not get done. So here's some boundaries that I love. I would have you consider that these might be applicable for you. I tell clients this: I respond quickly during business hours. After that, I unplug. This is clear communication about your availability. Something that as realtors is foreign to us, and we have such a hard time to do this. I'll tell you a quick story. When we started doing this with our clients up front, now this is hard to do if you've already like halfway through a transaction with a client right now and you have this kind of communication, which is crazy. But the next time you go and meet a new buyer, a new seller, sit with them and just tell them about who you are and what you do. And say, hey, after this time of day, this is my family time. I spend time with my family. I'll check my notifications back later at 9 o'clock. But if you don't hear from me between 6 and 9, it's because I'm with my family. Now, if there's an emergency, like your home went on fire, obviously, like call me a couple times and I'll get to it. But typically in real estate, guys, there aren't that many emergencies. We just kind of make that up. So think about that. Tell your clients how you're going to respond, how you're going to communicate effectively, and they'll actually gain more respect for you as an agent. Next one is autoresponders, voicemails, and calendar links. Now, I use Calendly. There's a bunch of different great ones like that where you can just say to your clients, hey, listen, I'm obviously, all over the place. I'm doing a ton of stuff. I'm working on your stuff. I'm making sure I'm dialed in. If there's something you want to jump into and have a quick discussion about, just use this link. This specific link is just for you. It's a VIP link for you. Click it, book a call, and we'll jump in. Think about other professions, guys. If you hire a lawyer, if you are going to your dentist or whatever it is, you don't just call them all the time, right? We are the only industry that does that. Like, if you really think about it, like, we're just crazy like that. And this is just spawned from years and years and years of this is how we kind of operate. And this is something that we need to really start to think about in terms of protecting your energy, in terms of this crazy busy summer. If you had clients who are all like, yeah, no worries, I need to talk to Lewi. I'm just going to click a link here and book a time when I'm going to chat with them real quick. Again, non-emergency related. This is a phenomenal way, and it's great for your clients too because they can book it on their schedule. Like, this is where it's good for me. Let's jam out. So use that tech to better yourself and better your client experience. Personal time. We need personal time. You have to make sure that you put this into your calendar as a non-negotiable. Okay, this could be workouts, this could be family time, this could be just recovery time, downtime, reading time, whatever it is. Schedule it, and look at this. Schedule it first. You need to schedule time for yourself first before you can give to others. We need to be selfish before we can be selfless. You have to be selfish for yourself if you want to be selfless for others. There's no way you can do this if you're just serving and serving and serving and serving all the time. You're just pouring out and pouring out and pouring out and nothing's coming back in. Scheduling time for yourself first is a game changer, and I promise you, your client experience and the energy and the drive that you'll have for your clients will go way up if you take care of yourself. And then the last one here is weekly reviews. Now, we do what's called Sunday CEO time. I do it on Sunday mornings just because I like to get up early and go through it. And I just review the week. I just look at like, okay, how did the week go last week? What was good? What was bad? And then what's coming up this week? What are the commitments I have? What are the big things I have for my clients? What do I need to do? And I'll get them in my calendar and make sure they're listed in priority. Whatever the biggest priorities that you have right now for your clients and your business, get them dealt with first, and then we'll fill in the rest of the week with whatever is going on. Another book here, guys, is Essentialism by McKeown. Great book to check out and jump into if you want more information on this stuff. Now, don't wait until you crash. Now, this is where I'm going to get a little bit wishy-washy on you. This is about internal health and how you do things. And this is what works for me. I'll give you what I do. You don't have to take it. You can do whatever works for you. I'm just going to tell you what works for me. I'm a pretty healthy person. I'm pretty dialed in. I deal with my stuff really well. I deal with stress really well. These are real techniques that I use on how I do things. One of them is breathing. Now, I got really into breathing through this guy, Wim Hof. You might have seen him. He's the Iceman. He runs marathons with just like a pair of shorts on, bare feet in the snowy mountains. Wild guy, crazy. But check him out, really, really cool. But he does this breathing technique called box breathing. And you might have heard of it. It's 4 seconds in the inhale, 4 second hold, 4 second exhale, 4 second hold. And you only need to do this a few different times. Like if you're starting to feel stressed out, this is like when the kind of warning signs are coming. Just start breathing. Take some breaths. Calm yourself down. A lot of the times we think the things that are stressful for us are so crazy important, and you've probably seen this 100 times, that when it turns out you get through it, it really wasn't that big of a deal. This is a way to calm your mind down, bring things down so you can really start to regulate again. So box breathing is huge. Outdoor walks, I love it. I love it. I love just going around the block for a walk. I'll leave my phone, leave my technology here. I'll just walk the block. A little bit of fresh air, a little bit of breathing space, a little bit of sunshine on you. There's the world of difference. If you're driving like crazy and you're all over the place showing clients, just pull over, get out your car and just, walk for a couple minutes and walk back to your car. I'm telling you, big one. Now these next two here are pretty interesting because they're for something called a parasympathetic nervous system that's inside of your body. And this is a nervous system that keeps you calm. So these two ones really actually physically get this done for you and psychologically calm down your nervous system. First one is cold water splashed on your face or a cold drink of water. So wherever you are, crazily enough, the cold reacts well with your body. That's why, again, Wim Hof teaches us a ton. Ice baths, all that stuff. I love that jazz. But if you've never done it before, even a cold splash of water on your face, cold drink, will bring that system down and give you more mental clarity. And then the last one is left nostril breathing. Now, don't laugh, don't switch off. I promise we're getting through this. This is the last one. Left nostril breathing is scientifically proven to calm this system. And I'm not joking, like here. Just with your left nostril, breathing in and out, close the right one. This calms down that nervous system. It's pretty crazy, it's wild. If you've never done it before, you're like, Lewi, you're a freak show. But I'm telling you, this is a big one. So calming yourself down is huge. And those are a few techniques on how you do it. But when we look at the week, when we look at what we're doing, when we look at what we're actually working on, how can we effectively use that to get our stress away? Okay, because you can do this stuff. You can get yourself to be a little bit calmer and all that jazz. But the truth is we still have to do our business. We still have to work. We still have to get results. So how do we effectively take the things that we have to do and get them in a correct order of what we are doing? So we talk about here MITs, right? Your calendar should create calm, not chaos, right? We want to make sure that we're putting our things in our calendar first to make sure that we're good, we're physically healthy, we're eating right, we're doing our things, we're taking time for ourselves. But then we want to put in our business stuff. And how do we do this in specific orders to make sure that we're dialed in? The first one is MITs. Now, most important tasks. 1 to 3 MITs daily. Now, you guys have probably heard of the Power List from Andy Frisella, a bunch of different ones. I've talked about them on the channel before. Lists are great to work from. But the problem is with to-do lists, they're never ending, right? You just keep on adding on to these lists all over, and it's just chaos. What you need to do is be able to identify the top 3 needle movers that you need to do in your business that day. 1 to 3, doesn't matter. But as long as you're doing MITs every single day, you can actually move the needle in your business faster than you ever would have just trying to attack that list in one shot. This is huge for me. Picking the MITs and just getting those done. Some days you can get them done in a couple hours. Some days it might take you all day. It depends on you, depends on what you're trying to do. Like I mentioned before, weekly planning session, we do CEO time on Sundays. Sit down, how did last week go? What's coming up this week? What do I need to know about? What do I need to make sure I'm keeping top of mind and focusing on that and making sure that you put those into your list and have them and make sure you delegate when those MITs need to be done. Block it out, recovery time into your day. Scheduling breaks as non-negotiables. Now, I mean actually put like a break, like an actual thing that says break in your calendar. Because what a lot of us tend to default to is we'll fill our calendar up and we'll just leave like little gaps, right? We'll leave gaps in our calendar. And when we look at it, maybe first thing in the morning or, that on the Sunday looking up to the week, we're like, cool, we've got breaks there. I've got like an hour here, an hour there. But you know what's going to happen. That time is going to get filled in, whether you like it or not. It's going to get filled in either by you or by someone else. that time will get filled unless you schedule a break. And it doesn't have to be a long break. It can be a 15-minute break, it can be whatever. However long you want to do, put it in your calendar as a non-negotiable break. If you had a job and you were working for a company that was running 100 miles an hour, you still get a break. You know why? Because they know if you take a break and get some mental peace and clarity, you can come back and get the rest of the day done effectively. So we need to do that for ourselves. You need to put the business owner hat on and say to the employee, go take a break, come back and get back to it. And then the last one here is time block based on energy, not on urgency. Now, I did a video on an app called Rise. It's a sleep app. It measures your sleep. You just put it next to you. It's on your phone. You just kind of put it on during the night. And what it does is it measures your sleep, your REM cycles, all that good stuff. And basically kind of what happens when you wake up in the morning, it gives you a curvature of what your energy is like that day. So it might go from, say it goes from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. or whatever. It will show this like curve of when your energy is up and when it's dipping again. And for me, typically what I saw was like between like 9 a.m. to like 11 or 12, I was peaking. And then from like 12 to 2, I would see this dip here, but then I would start peaking again between like 2 and 4, and then things would start to wind down again. So when we're starting to schedule things, think about what you want to schedule into these specific places, right? If my energy is dipping, that's not when I want to be meeting clients and talking with them and exciting them about home buying opportunities and stuff like that. And it's not when I want to be filming content. It's not when I want to be in front of the camera and doing stuff. This is when I really want to be doing, admin stuff. Maybe it's emails, maybe it's, contract work, whatever that looks like. In my energy boosts here, this is when I want to be doing creative things or working on the business, not in it. I want to be creating, I want to be using my brain, I want to be meeting clients, I want to be out and about. So think about scheduling not based on what's urgent. Think about scheduling based on your energy cycles. Now, you don't need to use an app like Rise. You're probably in tune with your body and you can figure out, okay, I know between 9 and 11 I'm on, and then I start to dip typically, and then once I get some food in me, I'm up again or whatever. So think about what your energy curve looks like and start to schedule in accordance with that. Really, really big thing to focus on, because if you can work with your energy cycle, you can make sure that the things that are stressful can be attacked when you have all the energy. And the things that are kind of, secondary, you can start to do on your downtime. This will really, really help you, because there's nothing worse than like having all this energy, but having to do paperwork, emails, stuff that's just like kind of secondary. You want that energy to be used in the best of its ability for your clients and for your business. So a couple more things to jump into here. One of them really is about the idea of success. So what does success look like for you in a busy season? And really in any season, I think this is a really good conversation to have, because your idea of success, whether you like it or not, drives you and drives the amount of pressure and stress that you put on yourself. And when we look at this here, a lot of us think about success as income, but really income doesn't mean more peace. The more income you're trying to get after, typically the more stress it brings on you. Now, if you're in that season and you're like good for that and you want to go through that, hey, have at it. Like, trust me, I've had plenty of seasons where I'm just chasing income. No problem at all. But sometimes when I'm feeling the stress and feeling so much anxiety and pressure, is typically because I'm chasing financial success instead of fulfillment. And those two things are just not the same. Typically for me, is family-based, is health-based, is hobby-based. That's where I really find fulfillment. Obviously it's client-based as well. If I do a great job, if my business is going great, I get a lot of fulfillment from that. But it is a balance. It can't just be all business-based. So in this summer season, in this busy season, think about what's actually going to make you fulfilled. If your kids have got 3 months off of school like mine do, how much time am I going to spend with them, right? And like, how many summers do I actually have left with my kids before they go off to college? If you think about that, fulfillment completely changes. Instead of income, it comes to time. So financial success doesn't always equal fulfillment. Some seasons it can, some seasons it can't. It's completely up to you. This one here, visibility increases pressure. When we think about success, a lot of us will post about it on social media, will display it publicly, whether on purpose or not. Typically we do it a lot, but that also brings its new challenges. When we start to, post about all our success in real estate, or homes that we're selling, or clients that we're helping, or new cars that we're buying, stuff like that, it puts new challenges and new pressures on us from the point of view where we have to keep that going, right? That whole keep up with the Joneses, I guess, from my day. Maybe it's keep up with the Kardashians these days. But think about the amount of pressures on people like that, where they have to keep it up there. If your spending starts to go up, if your budgets start to go up, that's a lot of pressure to keep that money coming in. So think about, doing more things in the background, doing more things quietly. You can absolutely celebrate successes 100%, and people should know that you're being successful in your business, but just be mindful of how much you put out there, how much you really put out about your successes, because it does bring another level of stress. And this really brings us to this last point here, growing without grounding. You have to be grounded in what you're doing. Now this really, for me, goes back to goal setting for the year. Or goal setting for a quarter or a season or whatever that looks like. You don't want success to come at the price of erosion of your life, all right? Especially in the summer, right? This summer we're going to go to California for a bit. We're going to chill, we're going to go to the beach, we're going to do everything like that. The last thing I want to do when we're at the beach or we're at Universal Studios or whatever is be on my phone the whole time, because I've not figured out how to deal with my business, how to keep this success going without systems, without processes in my business. So sustainability at a successful business requires you to be rooted in why you're doing what you're doing. There's a great book by Simon Sinek, one of my favorite authors, called Start With Why. If you've never read that, jump into that book, absolute game changer. And I love this quote right here. Scaling your business at the cost of your soul isn't success. Now that's really deep. But scaling your business at the cost of blank, whatever that is to you, isn't success. I know plenty of people who are very, very successful on the surface if you look at them, if you look at their Instagram, but they're miserable. And what is the point of that? Especially in the summer. Summertime, I want to be doing barbecues and going to the pool and having fun and living life. That's what our business should bring us. It should bring us the lifestyle that we want. If your business is costing you that, and you're like, well, it's just this year, next year will be better. Trust me, as someone who's gone through that, it won't. So don't take the things that you actually want in life and have your business sabotage them. Your business should be fueling that stuff. Another couple book recommendations, and I'll drop all these book recommendations in the description below. The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks and The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan, especially this one, Gap and the Gain. Banger of a book. Make sure that you read that one. So let's start wrapping this up here. Let's look at this. 3 questions for you in terms of stress in the summertime in your business. First one, what are you carrying that no one sees, right? We all have invisible burdens, we all have challenges, everyone's got something going on that you don't know about. But what are the invisible burdens that drain your energy? What are they? It could be relationships, could be parts of your business that you haven't built out yet, could be systems that you don't have, could be learning AI and you don't know how to do it yet. There could be a bunch of stuff. You got to figure out and name those and figure out what they are, because if you don't name them, if you don't actually think about those things, they're just going to keep eating away at you. So think about what those burdens and stresses are for you. Where is stress leaking into your life? Okay. Where are the spillover things coming for you? What is the stress? Is it that you keep telling your wife and kids that you're going to do X, Y, Z, but you keep flaking on it because your business demands everything that you've got? Is it you have so many clients going on, you can't keep a hold of them all because your CRM is an absolute catastrophe? Okay, well, there's solutions for that. We need to get in, build a CRM. If you don't know how to do that, there's a phenomenal channel, Adam Gillespie. I'll link it below as well. He's a CRM coach, unreal. Go and check that out if you need CRM coaching. And then the last one is this. What's one small shift that you can make this week? Like just this week, what is it? Is it your calendar? Is it your energy? Is it breathing? Like, what are these things that we've talked about that you could actually start to implement and start to leverage in your business and where your life, because this is where actual breakthrough happens. This is where you can really start to change how you build your business and how you can build it to be less toxic for you, less crushing for you in this busy season. Last one, guys. Here's your homework for the week. Build one energy protection ritual. What is that? Is it waking up without your phone for half an hour? Is it working out in the morning? What's your energy ritual that you're going to start doing for you, personally, yourself? I want you to do one strategic no. Say no to something this week. Just say no to one thing that you would always usually say yes to. And every time you say yes, you're like, oh God, I can't believe I just said yes to that again. Ugh. What is it? That could even be firing a client. One of my favorite things. If you've got a client or you've got a whoever that's just causing you so much stress, get rid of them. Trust me, if you can get rid of that stressful person in your life, another person will come in who's a joy to work with. Trust me on that. I had to learn that from my wife. She taught me that one. Priority scheduling. Schedule personal time like it's a priority. Remember, we talked about breaks. We talked about personal time for you. We talked about family time. Schedule that. Put it in your calendar and stick to it. And then last one, accountability. Find someone else. Find a friend of yours, another agent on your team, another agent in your office, whoever it is. Find someone and talk to them and be like, hey, this summer, I want to do things differently. Or this year, I want to do things differently. And let's keep each other accountable to ourselves. So, you're not behind. You're not behind. You're building with integrity. And it's the only way to build sustainable business. Okay, you don't need to burn out to win. You don't need to be the guy or the girl who's like just always on 100%, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the night, you're exhausted and you have no time for anything else. You don't need to build a business that way. This season, this stressful season that we're in, is here to grow you if you attack it the right way. You're not just building a business, you're building a life you want. And I love this last quote that I'll leave you with here. You can't pour from an empty cup, but you can build a business that refills you. It doesn't just drain you. Refills you, doesn't just drain you. You can build a business that sustains and builds the life that you actually want. We all got into real estate for typically two things: time freedom, money freedom. But typically, we can't do one without the other. It's really, really hard to do unless you build systems like this, unless you schedule things, unless you're very, very direct and honest with yourself about what you're doing and why you're doing it. So hopefully this helped you guys. Everything that I've talked about today, everything that I've linked will be in the description below. If you want to go through an exercise where you can actually go through your business and figure out what you're doing, when you're doing it, why you're doing it, what you should drop, what you should do more of. I've got a custom GPT down there as well that you can go through an exercise of the Eisenhower Matrix, and it will show you exactly what you're spending time on and maybe what you shouldn't be spending time on. So you can click that link below as well. You can get that GPT for free and jam out on that. But the point is, guys, this is a stressful season. It's always going to be stressful. Real estate is stressful in general. It's up to you how you work through that. Are you just going to sit and take it? Are you just going to sit and react the whole time to it and just be burnt out? Or are you going to do something about it? Be proactive and build a business that you love that sustains a life that you want to build. All right, guys. Peace.